This story is an excerpt from The Dark Cry of Aristid by William Bryan Johnson. Cloud cover hid the moons in starlight. Only the odd floating orbs of magical light reflected from the paved stones. The street had emptied during his short time in the tower. Herrick flinched at every sound as he descended to his office. Sweat poured from his brow, even though the cold night air made him shiver. Secretly, he begged for something to appear, a villager fleeing their house, a knight stampeding toward him on horseback, anything but the horror that soon descended upon his office. The oil lamp burned low, etching deep shadows in the wall that moved in rhythm to Herrick's pacing. He adjusted the flame and waited, wanting as much light as possible when it entered his office. "Hello?" Herrick whispered into the darkness, thinking it had arrived. He whispered a quick prayer to his family's name as a slight breeze fluttered the farm reports across his desk. The flame's undulation forced the shadows to dance in the room. Horses stopped outside the door. Unseen voices gave quick commands. The office's temperature plummeted and the mayor's chest tightened. Two knights with the magistrate's mantle entered his office, all spears at the ready. They shut the door and locked it. Then in precision walked around the room, checking as they went, and finally addressed Herrick. "Mayor Herrick Blanchfield of Elta, the Magistratus demands a meeting." Herrick stared at the stair points. "Yes," he stammered and backed up. Shadows poured from the wall. Their inky blackness spread through the room as if searching. Then it gathered before his desk. They swarmed into long velvet robes. From the top of a mass, a tight, nearly skeletal face emerged. A hand rose from the robes and placed a wide-brimmed hat on his head that framed its intense, dark eyes. "Magnistratus?" Herrick croaked. It stared at him. His scalp tingled and burned, as if unseen hands massaged his head and then plucked out individual hairs. One spot in the middle of his head felt like a maggot had burrowed into his skull and spit ice into his brain. The Magnistratus's mental intrusion began. Herrick understood its words before they were spoken.
"You have received aid from a witch."
The voice scraped inside Herrick's mind. Herrick steadied himself against the desk. The presence of the Magnistratus pulled the life from him. He tried to speak but couldn't.
"You consulted with a witch, received aid from her, hid her, and now she is heavy with child."
The Magnistratus's hollowed eyes widened. Their dark pools reflected the lamp like hellfire. Herrick fought against the darkness of the thing's eyes, but he did not resist the call. "She meant no harm. She's innocent. She's... Herrick fell into the abyssal eyes of the Magnistratus. The wrath-like thing caught him by the jaw and pulled him across the desk. It floated several feet above the ground, taking Herrick with it. A torrent of invisible hot tendrils spread through the mayor's brain, seeking information as Herrick tried to scream. But the Magnistratus's thin hands felt like frozen iron that locked his head into place. This was the Inquisition. They spoke in unison. "I am not the sire. I am innocent of this crime, but tongues have wagged. Rumors, the witch consorting with a demon in the forest. No demon, it saved us all. She won't tell me who the father is. A sly cry escaped from Herrick as blood seeped from his nose. "Help us," they murmured. "Starvation. We begged for help. The crops withered in the fields. They are going to die of hunger. The tower and White Citadel refused aid. We are starving.
Help us."
The mayor struggled, gritted his teeth. Pressure from behind the eye sockets threatened to burst as if he tried to separate from the gaze. It was impossible.
"We should burn the fields and watch your village die for the crime of magic,"
said the Magistratus.
"While the populace watches and chokes, I shall have you flogged in the village square along with your daughter and wife. It will be quite the festival."
The Magnistratus hesitated and studied him.
You have no hand in this. You are cleared of the crime of magic. You will be a puppet of the White Citadel. This child will be born of great power, and he is to be ours.
There is only one solution. Herrick's voice died as he slumped in the Magnistratus's hands. It cradled Herrick's head and whispered in his ear.
Notify us when the witch is giving birth, or we will burn this village to ash and put you all in unmarked graves. We will not suffer the witch to live, nor those denizens that support her, but the witch will not die until the child is born.
A shadow flowed from the Magnistratus's mouth and buried itself into Herrick's ear. The Magnistratus threw Herrick across the desk and into his chair. Herrick fell back in the chair, bounced, and his head slammed against the desk. A small pool of blood formed under his nose. The Magnistratus dipped his thin, claw-like hand in the gathered blood and stared at it in the lamp's fire.
Attend to this fool, so that he does not choke. He has work to do.
A knight lifted the mayor back into his chair. The Magnistratus removed his hat and disappeared into the shadows as they returned to normal from the candle's flicker. The knights quickly exited, but even unconscious, Mayor Blanchfield seemed to relax. This is from The Dark Cry of Aristid by William Bryan Johnson, available on Amazon.